Hello there. It's just me, Kara, a new Pantene model, as it were. No, I'm just feeling fancy as hell with my newly straightened hair, except that there is a hair in my mouth. There we go. I went to the salon today, got a haircut, and my lovely hairdresser asked me if I wanted it blown out, and I said, oh hell yes, I do. So here we are, straightened hair. Of course, it will curl as soon as I wash it, but I don't intend to wash it for like the next 4 years. So here we are, and I'm loving it. But today, I just wanted to sit down and film something fun and easy. So I am going to be filming the Honest YouTuber Tag, as you probably know by looking at the title of this video. This was created by Mel Thompson here on YouTube. I'm going to link her channel down below. I think she's wonderful. I love watching her videos. I think she's got a lot of really great insights into products. She gives really good reviews, and she's just a lot of fun to watch. So, as I said, I'm going to link it down below, and if you're interested in finding out if I am a shady character or not, just keep watching. Okay, let's do this. There are 16 questions in total, and question the first is, have you ever received a product, tried it, didn't like it, and then decided not to review it? Yes and no. So, okay, first of all, I don't get sent PR. Like, I'm not on anybody's radar. I don't really get products, things like that. But back in the spring of 2018, a company did contact me and asked me if I wanted to test out their water pick and pick something else off of their website to see if I was interested in that as well. So I did, and I said sure. There were no strings attached. They didn't tell me what I had to say, how long a video it had to be, that it had to be positive, anything like that. They just sent me the water pick system and the eye massager. So I do have a video. Oddly enough, this video about an eye massager has like 4,000 views, which is kind of unheard of for my channel and really kind of shocking. But at any rate, I'll stick it up here in case you're interested. So I did the review of the eye massager. I had no complaints about it. I enjoyed adding it into my routine. Away we go. I never got around to using the water pick. It just sat in my bathroom for ages and none of us used it. And so I never ultimately ended up talking about it. So I didn't try it and dislike it. I just never tried it. So it's not that I disliked it and wanted to hide it from you guys. It wasn't that they said it has to be positive or don't do one. It wasn't anything like that. It was just I never used it and just never got around to filming a review of it. Okay. Question 2. Product you use alone but don't show or use online. There are a couple, only because they're kind of boring and I don't know that anybody's really interested in it. So one is lip balm. I typically apply this before I start my makeup just so that it has a chance to sink into my lips. This one in particular is from Tokyo Milk in the flavor, I guess, salted caramel. I've had it for ages. I am slowly working my way through it. It lasts forever. I really like it. It's got just like a nice little sweetness to it. It's not something that I like for overnight because it doesn't last long enough, but for makeup application, it's perfect. And then the other product is a face mist. So this one is a coconut water from the brand Pearlescence. I'm pretty sure I got it at like Marshall's or Winners. Yeah, it doesn't say on here, but I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. So I just apply this before I do any primers or anything, just to add a little bit of moisture into my skin. But again, it's not an exciting step, so I just don't tend to show it. Also, I rarely show brow application in my videos because it's always the same. So if you've seen me do it once, you've basically seen every way that I know how to do my brows. So I just do that to save time, but it's not because I'm trying to hide anything. It's just, it's boring. All right, next question. Let's see. Excuse me. Product you want but won't buy because you don't support the brand. I think that's a little bit more of a complicated question than it may seem on its front. I did recently post a video on my thoughts about Kat Von D, and they're not good, I'll put it that way. However, I have never come out and fully said I am boycotting this brand. I'm never going to talk about them. I'm never going to use their products on my channel. Never going to buy them. Never going to show them. Whatever. Simply because I think it's a really slippery slope. Because if I say boycott Kat Von D, which I totally understand the reasons why people have and people will, but if I boycott her, anybody who does anything somewhat similar, I should be boycotting as well. And then anybody who does something similar to them, I should boycott as well. And then it just, in my mind, it has that risk of becoming convoluted at some point where I don't really know where the line is. Just anybody who takes a similar step out of bounds, I should be cutting off. And that may sound a little extremist. Sorry, I'm going to keep touching my hair. Sorry, I'm not used to it. So that may sound a little extremist, but it is kind of true. Like I talked in my most recent new releases video about the Jeffree Star Blue Blood palette and how I was kind of conflicted and kind of interested in it, kind of not, whatever. I didn't talk about the controversy surrounding Jeffree Star. And so a couple of people made note that they were surprised by that in the comments because of my position on Kat Von D. And Jeffree Star, also has a checkered past. And so while I can understand that surprise and that reaction to my position on things, I have not made the fine, like I have not drawn the line to say I am never buying from any of these brands again. That's not to say that I condone the behavior at all. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to answer. It's hard to say. And I really struggled. Like I had a full conversation with my husband about this because I was like, I don't accept racism, anti-Semitism, anti-vaxxing. I don't, you know, if I find out that somebody's homophobic, like I don't accept those things. I don't think that that's tolerable in any sense whatsoever. But what do I do with that feeling? It's the same as, you know, the decision to go fully cruelty-free. I haven't made that decision. Do I support animal testing? Well, I guess in a way that I do, because I buy from certain brands who have been known to test on animals. Do I think morally it's appropriate or acceptable to test on animals? No, I don't. Same with, you know, I'm an animal lover, but I'm not vegetarian or vegan. So it's multifaceted, and I'm not to say if you boycott, I think you're wrong for doing so. I don't at all. I fully respect people's decision in that regard, but I just haven't committed to that yet. That being said, with brands like Kat Von D Beauty, it's going to take something very special for me to put my money to that brand. And even at this point, like, she's got that new vegan palette out. I could go and buy it, review it on my channel. People may be interested in it. People may just want to hear me drag it. I don't know. But I'm not going to do that. So at a very minimal step, I'm simply not going to put money into a brand for the sake of review. So it's going to have to be something that is totally revolutionary for the brand and something that I'm really, like, very strongly drawn to or very strongly intrigued by. I'm just not going to buy things just out of, like, passing curiosity or novelty. So going back to, like, the whole, if you boycott one, you should boycott everybody who does something similar. My other concern with boycotting a brand is, you know, people do change, people do apologize. I think in the sense of, in the case of racism and things like that, I don't know if people's central core beliefs can really change over time. I don't know. You know, feel free, comment down below on what your thoughts on that are. I don't know. But people can conceivably change or apologize. There's also owners of brands that I have no idea what their position on things are. And so I could be unwittingly supporting a completely terrible person. I don't know who owns Hourglass, for example, but I have some Hourglass products. Maybe I should feel shitty about myself for buying them. I just don't know, because the owner of that brand doesn't put him or herself out in the same way that Kat Von D and Jeffree Star do. So I'm reluctant to do it for those reasons, because I feel like it opens the door for me to step into a pot of hot water and not even know that I am. So while I feel comfortable sharing my opinions on these people and these brands, I just haven't got to that point yet where I'm willing to say, nope, never, ever again, and I'm never even going to mention them. I'm just not there yet. So I really do hope that you guys can understand that and respect it to some level. So yeah, it does take up a lot of real estate in my brain. It really does. And trying to find the right way to address it that feels good to me, mitigates my risks going forward in terms of accidentally causing offense or just painting myself as a hypocrite and not even meaning to and not even knowing that I am. There's a very, very long-winded way of me answering this question to say there is not currently anything that I want from a particularly controversial brand. And if there was, I would give it serious thought. Yeah, and like I said, particularly with Kat Von D Beauty right now, it's gonna have to be something far more creative and far more ingenious than what has been coming out of that brand for about the last year or so. Number 4, 5, and 6 all kind of go together in my mind. So one is, do you have any blocked words? I didn't until I posted my Kat Von D video. And there was only one I took a risk. I was nervous posting that because I thought there's going to be some serious stans out there who are going to come for me. And there was only one. And I don't know if it was a he or a she, so I'm just going to say they, knowing full well that it's not grammatically correct. But they posted a few comments, and 2 of them related to my weight. And one of them was just saying that I think it was extremely overweight, and therefore I should just worry about my own health and not worry about Kat Von D, to which I didn't respond. I was much more diplomatic, but A, fuck you. But B, also, not vaccinating your children puts many more people at risk than my weight does. But one of his or their comments was something, you fat fuck. And, you know, it's easy to sit here and say, screw them, I don't care, and blah, 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 whatever. But honestly, if I'm being completely honest, for about a day or so, fat fuck, fat fuck, fat fuck just kept rattling in my brain. And it got to me. And then I was able to rise above it and kind of be like, I don't care about your opinion of me. The words still kind of rattle. But I did ultimately add fat and PHAT to blocked words. So 5 is, do you delete comments? If so, why? Yes, I deleted this person's comments because A, I don't need to see them every time I'm looking to see if there's new comments in there. And B, you guys don't need to be seeing that either. And okay, and C, it wasn't adding to the conversation. I am completely happy to have a healthy, respectful debate with people. I make a living out of arguing. That is what I do by trade. I argue by trade. It's totally fine. But when people are just like, no, you're a Nazi and you're fat, like, how is that adding to the conversation? That's just abusive and assaultive, and it's not helpful, it's not productive, and it's certainly not setting forward what your position is on things or why you have that position. So yeah, ultimately I ended up deleting them because I was like, you know what, this is useless and it's a waste of time, so gone. Also, I blocked that person, so that is question 6. Do you block people? That's the only person I've ever blocked. I did have somebody on a previous Kat Von D review that I did on the hell is it called? The fetish palette. She was just like, you clearly have no makeup skills. You're not a professional and you shouldn't even be doing this as a hobby and blah, blah, whatever. And that my review was so negative that it made her sick. I was like, if this was a negative review, wow, that's pretty impressive. You should watch some of my new release videos where I roast the shit out of things. So I tried to like comment in a respectful way back. That's the thing. I'm not going to come back and just be like, you suck and so does your mom, because that's not helpful. I try to be very diplomatic in my responses, and sometimes I have to like write them and rewrite them a couple of times in my head to filter out the negativity. But like, I didn't delete her. I didn't block her. Whatever. She like posted 2 comments and she was done, and whatever. It was silliness. This person though did go after somebody else who had commented and came after me a number of times and was just focused on my personal like physical appearance, and I don't need that in my life. I am critical enough of myself to cover everybody else. Like, you don't need to weigh in on my chins. I'm aware that they're there. I spend a significant amount of time looking at myself and despising them. So it's okay. Nobody needs to comment on it. It's fine. I got it. So I did delete them. Okay, let's move back on. So number 7, have you ever lied about a product try again. Have you ever lied about a product to stay on good terms with the brand? No. First of all, brands don't know who I am, so I could care less what they think of me at this point. This is my hobby. This is not my job. I am not angling to become the next Tarte girl, the next whatever. I'm never going on a brand trip. Like, I'm aware of these things. I am not the face that they want representing their brands. And I'm at this point not on like PR radar. So no, I have never lied about a review. What is it? I've never lied about a product to stay on good terms with the brands. I can extend that further to say I've never lied about a product. There's no point in doing that. If I've said this before on my channel, but like, if I lie to you about, I don't know, the longevity of a lipstick, when I know full well that it's going to wash off in like an hour, if somebody goes and buys that, it's going to wash off of them in an hour too. And they're going to be like, wow, Kara, you're full of crap. So then my credibility is shot. So why would I do that? It makes no sense. So I certainly wouldn't lie just to stay on good terms with a brand, because honestly, brands should be able to take the criticism, because not everybody is going to love everything. And if I have commentary or critiques of a product, that shouldn't be offensive to the brand. Number 8. Have you ever initially liked a product when you reviewed it and then changed your mind but didn't let your audience know? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Not in a deceitful way. So it hasn't been, I've really loved something, I've really amped it up, and then I'm like, oh my God, no, I hate this, and just not tell you. What it is, like, it's more about a sense of comparison. And I find that that's a lot of what makeup really is we buy different brands and different formulas because we're just constantly looking for something different or better. So sometimes I'll get, say, a foundation that I really love, and then I'll try a different one and be like, oh, okay, I love this finish. This one now I don't like as much because this newer one has come in and like the ranking has been shuffled. So I don't pop back on here to be like, oh, by the way, do you remember that foundation that I talked about 3 months ago? Well, I like this one better. This one's still okay, but this one's definitely better. Sometimes I do that, but it's not my policy because there's a lot of makeup that I try. I'd be constantly revisiting things. All right, now on to question number 9, which is influencer you don't trust. I thought, do I name names or do I just talk in generalities? I'm gonna name names. All right, 1, Manny MUA. Never actually watched any of his videos, but everything I've seen or heard or read about him is just doesn't sit well with me. So whether or not he is shady, my opinion of him is that he is very shady and that he will say and do whatever he needs to do to outrank somebody else, and I just don't fuck with that. Like, I don't have time for that kind of thing. So no, he's not on my list of people that I have any intention of watching anytime soon. The next one is Nikki Tutorials. I used to view her with a certain degree of credibility, and then that whole velvet sponge thing happened where she was saying basically that she had never used this before, that it wasn't sponsored and blah blah blah. But then when you used the link, it had like her name already in there, so clearly it had already been set up at some point. So there was a little bit more detail to that, but I can't really remember now because it was a few months ago. But basically it looked as though it was very much an affiliate link, but she was not even just not disclosing it, she was saying that it wasn't and was pretending that this was basically a first impression of this sponge, which clearly was BS. And so if you're willing to lie about like a $6 sponge, what else are you willing to lie about? So that put a big sour taste in my mouth, and I just don't really have much faith in her anymore. Number 1 for me, Jaclyn Hill. And I hate saying that, like I really truly do. I really dislike where I'm at with Jaclyn at this point because She was the very first beauty YouTuber I ever watched. I had no idea that this community even existed until I saw a post of hers on Pinterest, linked through, and was like, oh, so that's what YouTube is. Huh, and that's how you apply foundation. Good to know. And then it opened up this world for me. So to see her go from where she was in 2012 to where she is now, and just all the scorched earth in between, it's not my thing. It's not my scene. I don't really have an awful lot of faith in her. I certainly can't deny her makeup skills. I think she is phenomenally talented at what she does, but I just don't trust her opinions on things. She was also one of the ones that was obsessed with things and then you'd never see them again on her channel. And then it came to light, what was it, just a few months ago, where we're learning more and more that companies will pay top dollar for people to include products in their favorites. And so that retroactively was like, oh, okay, so that's why she was doing that. I gotcha. So I just don't have a lot of faith in her, if any. Okay, and then the follow-up question to that is influencer you trust the most. So I do have a few. There's two that I'll name names. There are others out there, but these two in particular I do have full faith in. So one is Mariah Leonard. I love her vibe, to be honest. I'm going to link her down below, and I'm going to link the next one down below as well, which is Raw Beauty Christy. Mariah, she just is who she is, and I love that, and I fully respect that. And anytime she has recommended a product that I have gone out and tried for myself, I have enjoyed it. So I think what works for her typically ends up working for me, and I've never really detected any ass-kissery or misleading statements from her or anything shady about her at all. I think she's just living her life and putting out really good quality content, and I like her. The other one, as I quickly mentioned, is Raw Beauty Christy. Freaking love that girl. I love her. I've seen her drag to absolute filth certain products and then praise others. She's done videos where she's like reviewed one single brand with a multitude of products, and she's loved some and hated others, and it's all very well balanced yet seemingly very realistic. And I just really enjoy that about her, and I love that she just doesn't mince words. You can tell she's not pussyfooting around it. If she doesn't like something, she's going to tell you why, and she's going to be very forthcoming with that. And so I really do have a ton of respect for her, and I've never really got the sense that she's just sort of leading you down the garden path for her own benefit or to stay friendly with the brand or anything of that nature. The third category, I guess, for this would be smaller YouTuber accounts. There's too many to name. I have a ton that I'm subscribed to, and I find that once you remove that element of PR and sponsorship and all of that kind of thing, there's no incentive for people to be lying, and that just automatically boosts their credibility. But I also find that a lot of smaller accounts just spend more time explaining what they do and don't like about a certain product. So hats off to smaller YouTubers. Question 11 is secret tips or product application you don't show while on camera. I don't have any secret tips. If I ever came across something that made something easier or whatever, I would definitely share it because that's the kind of stuff that I love to learn from people. So no, I don't have any product application. Aside from the products that I talked about at the beginning, like the lip balm and the face spray, sometimes I'll do extra blending off camera, but I think that's to be expected. No, I don't have any like secret tips or anything. I don't know. No. Okay. Have you ever showed one product but were actually using another? No. And if I have, it hasn't been knowingly. I have on occasion accidentally said that the eyeshadow palette was the wrong palette or the lipstick shade was the wrong lipstick shade, things like that, simply because I forget. But when I've caught myself doing that, I go back in and I edit it so that it's correct. But I've never done that knowingly. Like I wouldn't put, say, the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette on my face and try to pass it off as like a Tarte palette or something like that. I would never try to mislead you guys in that way. And I would certainly, if I don't know, why would somebody do that unless it's a mistake? Okay, number 13, have you ever not disclosed a sponsorship? Never had a sponsorship, so that's pretty easy. Any affiliate links that I do have, I think I've got like 2 codes in my description bar that are affiliate in nature, and those are clearly stated. I even try when I'm like saying, like recently I did a video where I was showing my nails from Lux Claws, and I included the link and the promo code that you can use, stuff like that, and just put in parentheses not affiliated, just to be absolutely clear what is and isn't. Basically, the short and long of it is if it doesn't specifically say that it is, you can very safely assume that it is not. Because trust me, just knowing who I am, if something was sponsored, first of all, I would be really excited to even have that opportunity, so I would be sure to tell you. Also, I take all that very seriously. It is illegal not to disclose those kind of things. Law is kind of my wheelhouse, so I'm not going to certainly take risks with legalities for the sake of YouTube channels just to hide the 3% commission I make off something. Like, that just doesn't make an awful lot of sense to do. So if I ever have a sponsorship, you guys will be the first to know. Okay, 14, have you ever had a bad interaction with a brand? No. No, brands don't know who I am. So there's never been an opportunity for that. So no, I've never had a bad interaction. 15, have you ever bandwagoned with other people's thoughts on a particular product? I don't know, maybe. I think we can all be influenced by other people's opinions, but have I ever like disliked something but pretended to like it just because that's what the majority has done? No. And even with my new release videos, I film mine before I watch anybody else's because I don't want to be influenced by anybody else, whether it's, you know, subconsciously or not. So I don't think that I have, at least knowingly, and I certainly haven't done it in a deceptive way. So if, say, a lot of people hated something, I might be a little bit more critical on it because I'm aware of that popular opinion. But if I really like it, I really like it. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So no, I don't think I've ever bandwagoned, at least not intentionally at any rate. The last question is, things other creators do that get on your nerves. Okay, I have a list. And I actually wrote them down so that I didn't sit here and just stare off into space. So 1, being instantly obsessed with something. When somebody, like even on first impressions, when somebody's trying it and they're like, I am obsessed. No, you have a favorable first impression. You're not obsessed. That word gets thrown around far too loosely here in YouTube land, and it does have an actual meaning. Liking something on first application is not that meaning. Number 2, pushing affiliate codes or not disclosing them, not disclosing sponsorships. I think that is incredibly shady behavior. Also, I just don't want to watch a video where they're like, I have a coupon code for this, I have a discount code for this, my affiliate link's over here, because then it just feels like I'm watching an infomercial. I'm not gaining anything actually useful out of that, and it's off-putting to me. And if you're not disclosing stuff, then friggin' shame on you. First of all, it's illegal not to do so, so stop being a felon. Second of all, like, come on, we're all aware of what sponsorships are. Just own up to it. I don't think in and of themselves sponsorships have to be bad. It's the people who have failed to disclose them that have put them in that connotation. So just open and honest, away we go. Number 3, super clickbaity titles and thumbnails. Like, it's misleading and it just pisses me off. It doesn't mean that the content that you're putting out isn't valid, but you shouldn't have to rely on some like flashy thumbnail or misleading title in order to suck people in. I've noticed recently that Tati has done that a little bit, and she's never really done that in the past. I also am starting to wonder if somebody else is doing her editing, because the editing style is a lot different than it used to be. So I hope that she regains a bit more control over that aspect, because she is not somebody who needs to rely on clickbait. She is not somebody who needs little like cutaways in her videos and all that kind of stuff. People watch her because she gives very thorough reviews on things. She doesn't need to rely on that. The last one is it's just a little minor pet peeve, but it really does make me uncomfortable. And it's when people talk to the monitor. So they're staring at themselves instead of staring at the camera. For me, it would be looking up here instead of looking at the lens. And then I've also seen some people where they're actually like looking down here instead of looking. And it's just, I'm like, hello, over here, look at me. I think it's really nerve-wracking. Like there's one, like it's like a minimalism, frugal living account that I watch. I'm not going to name names, but she constantly like looks over here, and I have to like honestly do something else and just listen to it in the background because it's so distracting to me that she's so close to looking at the camera and just isn't doing it that I honestly can't watch it. So I like her content, I like what she has to say, but I can't watch how she says it. So, all right guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Those are all of the questions. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. It was a fun tag to do, so congratulations to Mel Thompson on putting this all together and having such success with it. If you have done this tag, feel free to let me know down below. I'd love to check it out. Other than that, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.